too.
We go.
Is that going to catch the back?
Yeah, I've got my paper and I've got Chris first. I want to say it's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Cool.
I've
been doing it for a while.
I know. I've been a W.A.S.P fan and a Chris Holmes fan since I think maybe 9-10 years old.
Yeah.
So this is a real privilege for me to kind of meet you, and I remember kind of back in maybe I think 85, 86 with the first time I ever saw live at the Lyceum when I was kind of like 9-10 years old, just being.
We used to go out to put on a show at one time. It was the energy, you know, Blackie, Randy, and Tony, and everybody. It was fun in the old days.
So, like looking back at those, like my two big live shows are obviously live at the Lyceum, and then 86, 87, the Long Beach Arena, live in the Raw. Kind of, how does it compare going from like those big kind of shows? Like, what do you get out of doing these little shows still?
Yeah, I know for a fact, me doing my thing, I mean, me singing, I know it'll never be the arena unless I open for somebody. But I'll never get to that status. I know that. And the way the internet is now, and there's no record labels anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll never get that big. I like doing it now because it's there's people I enjoy. I love being around everybody in my band. Everybody treats everybody equal, which in the old W.A.S.P days was not like that. It was a business, and everybody got lawyers behind you, and it's just the managers and this and that. And Chris, you can't skateboard. I couldn't even skate. I grew up in Newport Beach, Balboa Island. So my grandmother had a sailboat. I loved sailing. I couldn't do that because of insurance.
So this gives you that more freedom.
Well, I wouldn't have did it anyway. Fuck you.
Did that get you in trouble?
Well, if I died sailing a sailboat, it wouldn't pay the insurance. But I don't give a shit. If I die, I don't get the money. So it didn't matter. But just and you have so much stuff behind you, And then I remember it was Blackie and I, the only ones that they'd have to drug test, and me, and I didn't really give a shit. If I'm not stopping doing what I do, you can take it and shove it up your ass. So they'd pull somebody else's blood all the time, whatever, for the insurance. But,
you had your own blood bag.
Pardon?
You had your own blood bag.
But that's the management. But it's I like doing this better. I enjoy this better. I know I'm not going to make millions of dollars off it.
It must be nice to connect with the fans a little bit more, and
Well, yeah. I hate to say it. I've always used to get in trouble in W.A.S.P because I wouldn't. But the Blackie always wanted. He didn't want anybody in the audience or anybody around to see the band till they hit the stage, and then off the stage and never see him again. And that's not what I grew up as, being a human being to people. It's just not my bag. I would rather be out in the crowd because I'm one of those people in the audience.
Yeah, talking about being a fan, are you still listening to music, and what kind of music you listen to at the minute? Old stuff, new stuff, what?
Well, during COVID, I sat down and made, on the internet, I stole every song I ever wanted on USB sticks. Right. I recorded them because I had a recorder. And I recorded. I didn't download them. I recorded them real time out of the headphone jack.
Yeah.
And it's good quality, and I recorded every song I ever wanted to. And on the way here, I was listening to a different kind of truth, which is a new it's. I don't know when that album came out. When did it come out? Different Kind of Truth. Was that 2012? Van Halen.
Yeah.
So that's almost just 10 years old, but that's the last album. I was listening to that.
Yeah.
In a way, because Van Halen and I were good friends.
Right,
I was fucking phenomenal guitar playing on that. I've never really listened to that record, but I recorded it, and then I got all the stuff so when we're traveling, I can play it and listen to it. That was the last thing I was listening to, but I like the old stuff. And if you were to ask me any new bands, I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit the same. I'm stuck in my ways, and I like discovering old music.
Yeah.
So, for example, Van Halen. I never really listened to Van Halen when I was.
Well, they're not that big in Europe for some reason.
Yeah, I was, kind of obviously new wave of British heavy metal, so I was always listening to that kind of stuff. And then W.A.S.P and Crew and Guns N' Roses, and I went through that stage.
Right.
Van Halen never really.
Until
I'm older, and now I kind of love all that kind of stuff.
Right, I'll tell you, he was the best guitar player there was.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix electrified it, you know, and then Van Halen rocked.
And is that where you still draw your inspiration from when you're writing those kind of old, like? My
inspiration, my brother is 4 years older than me, so when I was 12 and 11, he took me to rock concerts.
Mm-hmm.
He took me.
Did you say?
Oh, when I was a little kid, I went and saw Johnny Winter when I was like 12. It blew me away, man. Johnny Winter, and I went and saw Deep Purple when I was a kid in '72, right after they made the Machine Head.
Yeah.
Man, Blackmore, shit, and just growing up that way, I met Van Halen playing at a party. We became close friends. I tried to play like him, but you can't. There isn't any. You can't. You can't. The guy, he played so effortlessly. You know, it's sad. It's sad that he's gone. I'll never talk to him again. You know, but nobody lives forever. But I was just listening to a different kind of truth, and they have a song on the record called "She's the Woman," and that's an old song from '75. I tripped out. I go, whoa, man, they did that. Yeah. And it's,
you said you never play like Van Halen, but you must know that you're an inspiration. Like Chris Holmes is an inspiration to people as well. You are an inspiration to how people were playing and how people were conducting themselves on stage, and that must feel like.
I'm not that good at. I don't know too much about music theory, and I'm not that schooled. I mean, I know what an A note is and an E, but I'm not. What I do, to me, what I do compared to Van Halen is I'm not even in junior high school. I'm about first grade compared to him in college. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at the way I play. I have a certain. You're right. I have a certain way of playing. The way I learned. I learned really weird how I played guitar. I will say something. I used to work at a place called Sirwin Vega Speaker Company. And this is when I was 19. And you look at things on oscilloscope. It's a TV, it's an old TV scope, oscilloscope. And you can look at the frequencies and stuff. And we had my amp plugged into an isolation booth with my guitar, turned up full blast, and I was sitting there one day, and I was playing the chords, and I was watching. I go to my boss, come by, I go, hey, see this frequency? And he goes, that's bad. He goes, that's white noise and pink noise, Chris. You don't want that in there. So I learned to hit the chords looking at that screen.
So you're watching like a visual.
Right.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I figured out why what the sound that I like makes a difference. If a chord, you got the root note and fifth, okay, and that makes a chord. What depends if it's major or minor is the third note of the chord. And if you hit the third note with distortion, it adds in pink and white noise.
And that's what gives that.
No, that's what I don't like.
Ah, right, yeah.
That's what I don't like. So most of the guitar chords I hit are only two notes.
Right, so you don't get that.
It's like Tony Iommi. Most of the chords he hits are two notes.
So looking back at your,
it's really the way I play. The way I play is really childish. I hate to tell you, it is. I'll hit two notes.
Don't break all the illusions for me, Chris. Come on, I'm a fan for years. Like
I'll hit two notes, but it'll be all six strings.
Yeah, so you're hitting all the
So I've learned to play the chords like that.
So you kind of learned guitar by colours. That's kind of.
I've learned a lot of it by watching that oscilloscope.
So if you're looking back at all of this. The huge Chris Holmes back catalogue. Is there anything where you're like,
The Headless Children would be the album.
That's the one where
that's the album that I'm proud of. I'm the most proud of. The first one I'm not proud of. I'm more embarrassed.
Really?
Well, come on, man. Album just came out before that? Born Again just came out the year before.
Yeah.
And if you're a guitar player like me, a little puny wah sound, little dinky guitar sound. I mean, yeah, it's got energy. But man, on Born Again?
Yeah,
Come on, man. And Priest just came out with Defenders of the Faith.
But that album-
W.A.S.P album, little puny guitars.
That-
I fought with the engineers. Come on, no, I want to play this. Shut up, Chris. Hey, I got a record deal. I'm getting paid $120 a week. Ah, shut up.
So did it take you to get to Headless Children before you
Headless-
felt like this was the Chris Holmes sound, this is the Chris Holmes playing?
In the first two albums, I did all the rhythms because with the time and everything in the studio, I could usually double track what I do, and you can't even tell if you put it left or right.
Yeah.
Now this was the way it was back then. So Randy just played his solos, and I did all the rhythms. So I've been sick. I spit shit out all the time. But when it got to the Headless Children, that was right after we had done Donington, and we were going to break the band at Blackie, blah blah blah. Then he decided not to want to do another album, and I just went, listen, if we do another album, I'm going to do the guitars the way I want to fucking do them, or I don't want to play in the band anymore. I don't want to. It's not my bag. I don't want to sound like the first album. I want this to be heavier.
Headless Children was a real different kind of sound for the whole, with
yes,
and
because I did the guitars. I did almost every guitar.
And from I play like drums a little bit, so having
Frankie, Benelli compared to Riley, come on, that's like first grade college.
Like Frankie is one of my all-time kind of like.
I've known Frankie since I was 16. For a long time. He played in a band with this guy named Pete Castle, who's dead now, Benelli is.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I used to roadie for him. And Pete Castle was the guy that gave me the number to Sister.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, Chris, there's a band looking for a guitar player. And I go, why don't you join him? He goes, it's not my bag. He goes, you fit in just perfect. This was when I was like 18, 17 and a half. And it was Sister. So he gave me the number to be in Black, to meet Blackie. Probably my life would have been a lot better off if I didn't.
Well, I was going to say, if you could go back and
speak to W.A.S.P been the only band I would have been in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's L.A. DeBro told me, he goes, if Carlos didn't work out, we were going to call you, Chris.
If you could go back to give yourself some advice, go and give the young Chris Holmes some advice, what would the advice be? What would you say to yourself? Knowing everything that you know now, my
advice to young people: if you're an alcoholic, don't drink. You'll ruin your life.
How long have you been sober for, Chris?
I've been sober since '96. Yeah. It's in the early W.A.S.P days, I just cared about drinking and getting fucked up. I did go. I never drank when I went on stage, but it's just being around people. The only friend I had was that bottle of booze. Yeah. That made me, happy. Whatever. I'm definitely an alcoholic, but it made it. I wish if I didn't drink, I'd have probably done the first album in W.A.S.P and Blackie, and I would have got into it. The second album is because it says it's just me on the cover. I'd have went, fuck you. If it's just you, then just you beat in the band. That's what you want. I do like signing the second album because I put CHRISHOL. I mean, 2 balls and dick right in his mouth on every album, or else I do not sign it. And you can I will not sign it.
I'm not even going to joke, right? When you said that about the first album, I was hoping that we could take a picture that you're going to sign in a minute for me. I'd love that.
If you want any W.A.S.P to sign...
I left the first album in the car, and I was like, I'm glad I fucking left it in the car now.
Well, that's the last command. But if you want any stuff signed, you got to ask my wife first, because I signed something a few months ago, and the guy turned around and sold it for $180 on the internet, and she's pissed off.
You joking?
Huh?
Fucking hell.
No, so people are making money off me, so it's like, I ain't signing W.A.S.P stuff anymore.
No, well, I'll tell you what I do want you to sign later when we finish. I want you to sign my jacket. That would be.
Yeah, and she hates me signing guitars. I was at the NAMM show, and this guy come up, and he had 4 Strat pickups with everything missing, just the pickup cover. The 3 things. Chris, can you sign these? And 10 years, 15 years ago, I didn't care. I'd sign everything because I'm a fan. Whatever. I don't want And I go, yeah, and I'm signing them. And Sarah was with me. So when I first met her, I started laughing. I go, you guys are going to put this on a guitar and sell it? And the guy goes, yep. And I knew he was.
Yeah,
and I knew but no, I said, if I I go, you're going to do what you need to do.
There's people that literally do it as their career, I think, is making money off it.
I think he sold them for $500. But it don't matter. Do what you need to do. Make some money off it.
If you could, looking back at all these things that we're kind of talking about, if I could give you a time machine now that would transport you back to one moment, what would you go and relive? What would it be? A show? Would it be meeting someone? Would it be, what would you go and relive?
And knowing what I know now?
It depends what you're going to do.
I would actually go back and I would go back to the fourth album, and I'd go back to the first album and figure out when the band's supposed to get together after the album, figure out who wrote the songs.
Yeah.
And I would go in. I would make sure I was at the meeting. I was never told, and whenever those meetings are. But I'm the only guy that wrote music. Besides Blackie, the other guys never wrote anything. So I'm the only guy that they gotta hide it from, so I never know. That's what I'd do. I'd go back and check that. My advice is to anybody that's young other than drinking would be DTA. Don't trust anybody. Don't even trust your brother, because when money comes into the situation and somebody with egos, man, it gets disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've had a good time doing this. I like doing it now.
I was going to talk about some of your good times. Like, it's kind of the debauchery of the 80s. It's like something that's gone and forgotten about. Like, have you got any like stories that you kind of like that you like to tell, or any favourite anecdotes from that time?
Well, the happiest time I've ever done on the road would be the W.A.S.P opening for Iron Maiden on the Power Slave tour, and somewhere in time after that, the album.
That's what we listened to on the way here, somewhere in time.
Yeah, and since they were on Sanctuary Music, same label, the same management and label, I didn't have to travel on the W.A.S.P bus. I went on Steve's bus with Bruce, and of course they love me because I'm from Hollywood, and it was one of the most enjoyable times of my life, because everybody on that tour, the people I hung out with, treated me right at the same level. It was great. It was great. And the first W.A.S.P tour was fun. It was as far as I thought, was an all for one for all. But then it changed after that.
But during that period of time, it
was great. We did some enormous things. You came to the Lyceum and saw what we did.
Yeah, I didn't come. I was a bit too young. Just the VHS was worn out.
Oh, we went out to kill people and to take no prisoners.
You could that came across on that just that VHS.
I used to like it because I'd get off stage and I'd be walking down the hallway and people would just they'd get the hell out of my way. I was a pretty nice guy. I'd want to talk to people, but it'd be funny. They'd get the hell out of my way. They'd think I'd come by and beat the shit out of them or whatever. And
do you think that kind of rock and roll's dead now? Do you think it's done and dusted with Spotify and streaming and all of that?
The younger bands, I don't really know. I don't know too many of them. I saw a thing on the news, this girl that got killed 2 weeks ago. Who was that? Do you remember her name? She was playing in Florida, and she made it on The Voice in America.
Right.
And she had a big following. She was playing a big arena, too. A big arena for somebody, and she was signing autographs. The guy came up and shot her. Boom! And somebody in her band jumped on the guy that shot her. It could have been her boyfriend. He had him in a headlock, and the guy turned and shot himself.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, a guy came out on the road with us. He met us at our house, and he came out and he did the merchandise. He goes, "Chris, I'm going to show you some of the new bands." So we sat down, went on the internet, and they all sucked. Okay. He put up the first one. "What about this?" I go, "Nope.
No.
Let's do the next one." He typed it all in. Then all of a sudden it was like the kind of screaming voice. And I'm like, wow, why in the fuck would they do music like that? When you write lyrics out, you write like "I love you, baby," then scribble it out. Is that what they do? It's weird. I don't understand it. I know it's got energy. Plus I never liked Slayer. They used to open for us. That kind of music, it's just not in my blood. When I was like 15, man, I was playing something Hendrix in my room. I had a pretty good stereo. My mom comes in and goes, turn that shit off. And she closed the door, and I turned it up. She came in and goes, she pulls the plug and cuts the cord, you know, my stereo.
Yeah. Is that you now with new music? Turn that shit off.
No, so she cut it, and I go, Mom, man, this is a new kind of music. And she was just pissed. She goes, Chris, the only way I can explain this to you is when you get older, there's going to be a new kind of music come on, and you're going to hate it. And she's right.
Yeah, of course, we all get there eventually, don't
But
we?
she's right. But when I was a kid, my mom listened to the Stones and Steppenwolf. You know, but I was listening to Hendrix with the guitar, you know, and that's what drove her crazy. But she was right, you know. And I don't. When I'm at home, I don't go to. Well, in the last year, I haven't done too much. But I live in Cannes now, and it's really there's not too many concerts come through there. Nice. Beyonce did.
You know.
Big fan?
I would have went to the show just to check out the show, I guess.
I love the show.
Just to see what she was doing.
Talking about the last year, obviously it'd be kind of remiss of me not to talk about the cancer and stuff. And how are you feeling now? Are you
singing tonight?
Huh?
Are you singing?
No. My voice, it's like your voice is like a muscle if you work it out, but I haven't. I've been since they did the radiation and stuff, I was stuck in bed. I would get when I was going through the treatment, I'd have to get radiated every day. Go to the hospital, get on a table, and they put you in this mask thing.
Yeah, I followed a little bit on Facebook of your journey and stuff. And
I was on morphine. I'd come home and just go to bed. Didn't eat. And then finally, after the treatment, they go, Chris, you're losing too much weight, and if you lose so much muscle mass, your body won't be able to fight off the cancer. What they've done, and so they put me on a feeding tube, and I was fed through my nose, and that was all right for a while. And then it was funny. I started throwing up. I went for a walk, and I was throwing up water, and the tube went in my nose and came out my mouth. It was a trip. And when I was throwing up, I was like, whoa. And I go, Sarah, and I was thinking, how am I going to get this back in my stomach? I go, it's not. It's not. And then it hit me. The doctor told me, he just said, if you do, we're going to put you on the tube in your nose. And he goes, it happens to some people, but usually won't. But he goes, if you throw up and it comes out your mouth, just untape your nose and pull it out real slow, and it'll come out. So I remember him saying that, and I was like, I pulled it out. And,
I love that you can laugh about that rather than being absolutely traumatized. You're so strong.
Well, no, you don't. But you're I go into a hospital every day, and I saw some people that aren't going to make it out of there either. You know, for the cancer in the cancer hospital. I'd be sitting there waiting to do whatever, waiting to get on the radiation machine, and there was other people sitting in the room, and I was sitting there, and I know that some of them aren't going to make it out of there. It's sad. I was one of the lucky ones. Luckily, my cancer is treatable. And when I was diagnosed with it, the singer in a band called Where Angels Suffer, that was played in 10 years ago. Really, he played with Randy Piper in a band called Animal. And Rich Lewis, and then we played Where Angels Suffer. He got throat cancer a year before me. So, and I talked to him, and when the doctor says it's throat cancer, I just hit the ground and think death, because I was talking to him. I knew it was treatable. So.
One of the things that really struck me about, following some of that journey on Facebook is just the fans and the amount of support that you got it felt like it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I didn't. Some of the stuff I'll look at before I was sick, and there's a few people go, Chris should never sing. You know, take the mic, put it in a box, and they hate my voice, really hate it. And I'm surprised somebody didn't go, well, at least he's got throat cancer, I don't have to worry about him singing now. But nobody did, you know.
No, man, it was really... So, we'll end with kind of like, what does the future hold?
For me?
Yeah, for Chris Holmes, for the mean man. What is,
I couldn't tell you. My computer took a crap that I record on. At home that I write all the songs and stuff, and we had another one sent from England here, and hey, cool, I'm tearing open the box and there's a dent on it. And I go, There's a Macintosh, aluminum.
Yeah.
I go, no, and it wouldn't fire up. It was dented, so I got sucked on that deal. I got to wait and get another computer to write the next record, and I'm gonna finish the next record, and I don't know what's up.
You still plan on keep on touring? Keep
keep playing with these guys. Yeah.
Good.
I was booked on the boat last February, the Monster Cruise, with Alice Cooper, but I got sick before and couldn't do it. So
that's something that you'd like to.
I'm hopefully we've been trying to get in contact with the guy. He was supposed to book me on this year coming up, but I've looked on the internet on the thing and I'm not. But maybe he'll book us on the one after that. I want to do that. I would like to do the States, but it's a different situation with the booking agents and all that stuff, and I'm not signed to a booking agent. I'm sick and tired of. I've been signed to the big management, the big thing, this and that. And
you're happy doing everything kind of in-house on your own.
And at the end of the day, there was a time when I was homeless after W.A.S.P. And that wasn't why. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sign to an agency. It's not worth it for me. It's all you're doing is giving everybody else the money.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it. I'd rather do this.
This community that you've got seems an amazing way to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's and it's sad. I wish if I didn't get the cancer, we would have played the boat. That was my dream.
I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen.
I've been we've been trying to get booked on those cruises. The one that goes out of Norway, and then I did a year and a half ago during the COVID. I did when Eddie Van Halen died.
Yeah.
This guy Eddie Trunk, I did an interview and blah blah blah. And also that night, the guy that booked us on that night. He booked us on the cruise, and I was like, finally, I'm going to play in America. I'm a mean man.
Yeah.
And it's just what happens. At least my cancer is treatable.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And seeing you out and doing this is incredible.
And last night we worked all those songs out.
This is the first night of the tour, right? Yeah.
This is the first night.
Yeah, exciting.
This is really Lex. Special. He's the bass player.
Hi.
Ollie's plays rhythm and lead when he wants to. I try to tell him I'll put in the solos whatever you want. And he doesn't. And this is Steve Jackson.
Yeah.
He's our drummer. And Ollie, he's singing my songs that I sing.
Right.
So if not, I wouldn't be able to play with my voice. I went and played in Canada last month, and I tried singing the choruses, but about Devil made me do it. I could sing that about 4 times in my voice. I just couldn't sing because of my muscles.
But you're happy just there playing guitar and with the band and just being out.
It was fun. We first were going to show the documentary, and then I just come out and answer questions to people. If they didn't have an opening band tonight, what I plan on doing, I think at Batterman's they don't. It's 45 minutes before the show. I'm going to go out on stage, just get a chair, and go, everybody in the audience.
That's amazing.
I'm going to answer any questions you want asked. I would just appreciate it. You don't ask me about a W.A.S.P. Because I'll give you the same answer, and I don't want to answer questions about Blackie, but I'll answer whatever the fuck you want.
Well, Chris, we really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us. This has been...
You got enough crap on there?
Oh my
plenty,
gosh.
mate. Absolutely plenty. So thank you. It's been absolutely amazing. Do you mind if we just take a couple of photos and stuff? Is that all right?
No. And if you want something signed...
I want you to sign my jacket if that's all right.
Okay, yeah.
There's no chance I'm selling this. That's been with me for
too long.
many years, yeah.
All years and you can't remember it. So I'm like, I
always go like this, cowabunga.
You don't, you always give the finger. Like this is the classic Chris Holmes.